pull out this one's kind of hard to open, close. This one's kind of all cut or not. When my great grandma Anna came up to America, she wore the same thick overcoat and big books she had worn from farm work. But her family weren't dirt farmers anymore. In New York City, her father's work was hauling things on a wagon, and the rest of the family made artificial flowers all day. Everyone was in a hurry, and it was so crowded, not like in the back home in Russia. But all the same, it was their home, and most of their neighbors were just like them. Illustrations, I love her illustrations because she draws them. When Anna went to school, English sounded to her like pebbles dropping into shallow water. Shh, shh. In 6 months, she was speaking English. Her parents almost never learned, so she spoke English for them too. The only thing she had left back home Russia were her dress and the buska that she liked to throw up into the air when she was dancing. And her dress was getting too small, and her mother had sewn her a new one. She took her old dress and babushka, then from a basket of old clothes she took from Uncle Vladimir's shirt, Aunt Hovela's night dress, and an apron from Aunt Natasha's. "We will make a quilt to help us always remember home," Anna's mother said. "It will be like having the family in back home Russia dance around us at night." A little tradition. And so it was. Anna's mother invited all the neighborhood ladies. They cut out animals and flowers from the scraps of clothing. Anna kept the needles studded and handed them to the ladies as they needed them. The border of the quilt was made of Anna's babushka. I don't learn how to say that word. On Friday nights, Anna's mother would say prayers that started the Sabbath. The family ate the challah and the chicken soup. The quilt was the tablecloth. Anna grew up and fell in love with great-grandma Sasha. To show he wanted to be her husband, he gave Anna a gold coin, a dried flower, a piece of rock salt, all tied into a lined handkerchief. The gold was for wealth, the flower was for love, and the salt so their lives would have a flavor. She accepted the hanky. They were engaged.
Wow, they only get a hanky. No ring.
Under the wedding huppah, Anna and Sasha promised each other love and understanding. After the wedding, the men and women celebrated separately. And the quilt's still there at the wedding, too. When my grandma Carla was born, Anna wrapped her daughter in the quilt to welcome her warmly into the world. Carla was given a gift of gold, flour, salt, and bread. Gold so she would never know poverty, a flour so she would always know love, salt so her life would always have flavor, and bread so that she would never know hunger. Carla learned to keep Sabbath and cook.
Sabbath.
Sabbath. And
Sunday
to cook,
Sabbath, I think.
I was doing that a couple times. And to cook and clean and to do washing. Married, you'll soon be someday, Anna told Carla. And again, the quilt became a wedding huppah, this time to Carl's wedding to Grandpa George. Men and women celebrated together, but they still did not dance together. In Carl's wedding, bouquet was a gold coin, bread, and salt. Carl and George moved to a farm in Michigan, and great-grandma Anna came to live with them. The quilt once again wrapped a new little girl, Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen called Anna Lady Grandma. She had grown very old and was sick a lot of the time. The quilt kept her legs warm. On Anna's 98th birthday, the cake was a Coolidge, a rich cake with raisins and candy fruit in it. When great-grandma Anna died, prayers were said to lift her soul to heaven. My mother, Mary Ellen, was now grown up. When Mary Ellen left home, she took the quilt with her. When she became a bride, the quilt became her huppah. For the first time, friends who were not Jews came into the wedding. My mother wore a suit, but in her bouquet were gold, bread, and salt. quilt welcomes me, Patricia, into the world. And it was a tablecloth for my first birthday party. At night, I would trace my fingers around the edges of each animal on the quilt before I went to sleep. I told my mother stories about the animals on the quilt. She told me whose sleeve had made the horse, whose apron had made the chicken, whose dress made the flowers, and whose babushka went around the edge of the quilt. The quilt was a cape when I was in the bullring, or sometimes a tent in the streaming Amazon jungle. At my wedding to Enzo Mario, men and women danced together. In my bouquet were gold, bread, and salt, and a sprinkle of wine, so I always would know laughter. 20 years ago, I held Tracy Denise in the quilt for the first time. Someday she too will leave home and she will take the quilt with her. The end.
Wow.